Hello my dear students, welcome to one and all. So in last class we were discussing about function argument, isn't it? So the function arguments can be classified as required arguments, keyword arguments, default arguments and variable length arguments. Each and every argument, how it is functioning, all those things we were already discussed, isn't it? So and one more time we will recap the arguments. What is meant by arguments? So arguments are used to call the functions and the functions can be executed or the functions can be communicated from one places to another places by the help of through the arguments. So then only the arguments can be classified as required arguments, keyword arguments, default arguments and variable length arguments in Python. So the required arguments are the arguments. It is used to pass the functions, so passing the values to a function in the correct positional order. Okay, required arguments are the arguments which is used to pass the values to a functions in a correct positional order. Then keyword arguments, that means it will be invoking the functions after the parameter and it is recognized by their parameter names. That is called keyword arguments. Keyword arguments means it will be invoking by the functions when we are passing the values and it is recognized by their parameter names. Okay, so third argument is called default arguments. So we can assigning the value. If there is no value is provided by the function call, then the default argument will be invoked and executed. And finally variable length arguments, and sometimes we need to execute more number of elements. Actually we are defining the functions with some limited of the variables or limited of the function in the functions body. So then the variable length arguments are used simultaneously, it will be incremented by the values. So that is called variable length arguments. So another function is called anonymous function. That anonymous functions already we are discussed. The lambda function is called anonymous function. So that means we can create a functions without a function name. Okay, that kind of function is called lambda functions. How we are going to defining this kind of functions means without the keyword def, instead of the def keyword we can use lambda. Then the functions are called anonymous functions. So finally we are discussed about return statement. Now we are going for scope of variables. Okay, what is mean by scope of variables? Scope of variables is nothing but it refers the part of the program where it actually accessible or accessed by the program. So the variable can be defined where it is accessed from the program. So that is called scope of variables. Okay, the scope of variable refers to the part of the program and where it is going to be accessible. That means area where you can refer and use it the values. So we can simply say that the scope can hold the current set of variables and their values. So in Python we can use two type of scope of variables. One is local scope, another one is called global scope. So now we are going to discussing about what is meant by local scope and what are the rules for local scope. So the first thing, local scope means a variable is declared inside the function body. What I said, it will be declared by inside the function body or in the local scope is known as local variable. So what are the rules we can follow by the local variable means? So the first thing, a variable with local scope can be accessed only within the functions block that is created in. You clear about it? A variable with local scope, that means we define the function and making some block of statements. So if we are defining the variable inside the block means that variable can be only accessible from the particular block. So that's a meaning they are given. A variable with the local scope can be accessed only within the function or block that it is created in. Actually on the variable where we are created, that particular block only it will be accessible. So when a variable is created inside the function or block, the variable become local to it. Okay, have you cleared? When a variable is created, where we are created inside the function or we are created inside in the block, then the variable become local to its function or the particular block of statements. Okay, the third rule is a local variable only exists while the function is executed. Okay, a local variable only exists while the function is executing. So the formal arguments are also local to a functions. Okay, the formal arguments are called as local to a functions. So these are the rules they are given. Now you look at this example. So diff loc, that is the function name. LOC is a function name. Now I am creating a variable y and assigning the value is 10. So the y is local to the function loc. Okay, the function is where we are declared instead of the LOC. So the y variable is only accessible through the function block. Okay, now look at the second example. Diff LOC y equal to local. So now we are calling the function local and printing the statement print y. What will happen? LOC will be executed and assigning the value in a local is assigned to y, but it can be executed and throw an error. What kind of error? Y is not defined, because y is defined inside the function, so only it is accessible the particular block. That's why it created an error. Okay, so the next thing, what is meant by global scope? So a variable with a global scope can be used anywhere in the program. Okay, variable with a global scope means we can accessing from anywhere in the program. Okay, anywhere in the program. So it can be created by defining a variable outside the scope of any function block. Okay, it can be created by defining a variable outside. Okay, outside the function also we can defining the variable, and also outside of the function also we can refer it and accessing the values. So what are the rules we should follow to defining the global scope? That means the basic rules for global keyword in Python are: first, we define a variable outside the function. It is globally by default value. Okay, you don't have to use the global keyword. So outside the functions we can referring the global value means we shouldn't mention the global keyword. Okay, that is the first rule. We use global keyword to read and write a global variable inside the functions. When we are going to be using the global keyword, suppose it defining the outside of the functions means that value we needed inside the function means that time you can use the keyword global and get the value from the outside of the function. So that's why they are mentioning. So the third point, uses of global keyword outside a function has no effect. So uses of global keyword outside a function, it has no effect. Suppose if you are mentioning outside of the function, it has no effect. It doesn't meaning anything. That's the point they are given. So now look at this example, accessing a global variable from inside a function. So I am mentioning the variable, or I am creating a variable name called C and assigning the value is 1, whatever it may be. Any name you can create it, any variable you can create it, that is all no problem. Just I am mentioning C is a variable and as I am assigning the value is 1. That is the part is over. So next I am going to be defining a function that name is called add, and I am using the statement name is called print. Okay, what I am going to be print? C I am going to be print. So now I am calling the function add. So the control is travel to add function, and the statement will be executed. What statement it is executed? Print is the statement that is going to be executed, and what value it going to be receiving? C. Okay, so the output is 1. So now modifying global variable from inside the function. Okay, modifying the global variable from inside the function, you could change the values. You could change the values. For an example, C equal to 1. Now diff add, I am creating a function name is called add. Now I'm changing the value, what c equal to c plus 2. That means I'm incremented the value by 2. Now I'm again calling the function print c. Now I'm going to be calling the function add. Now it produces an error. What kind of error? A outbound local error. That means the local variable c is referenced before the assignment. Okay, well, what they are saying, the local variable c is referenced before its assignment. அதாவது இது ஏற்கனவே வந்துட்டு என்ன பண்ணிருக்கு, அசைன் பண்ணியிருக்கிறாங்க c equal to 1. So how I am going to be modifying this value? That means look at this another example. So see that x equal to 0, that means a global variable. Again I am going to be use that value. So I am defining the value with global keyword global x. Now I am changing the value x equal to x plus 5. Now the value 0 will be received from the outside the function and it will be modified and incremented by 5 and it assigned to x. So this is the simple procedure how we are going to be used global variable inside the function, or how we are going to be modifying the global variable inside the functions. So without using the global keyword, we cannot modify the global variable inside the functions, but we can access the global variable, but we cannot modifying the value. That is the point, we should remember it. Okay, so the next thing, global and local variables. So simply I am mentioning some program. Okay, x equal to 8, that is called global variable. Now global x, y equal to local, that means y is a local variable, x equal to x into 2. What will happen? The x value multiply by 2 and printing the value, and y is LOC, it will be given the output. That's all. So certain example I given, that's all. I send it to your group ID and show, look at these examples. If you have any doubt, let me discuss it in practical sessions. Okay, so the next thing is functions using libraries. So functions using libraries. Library means we know that already they are predefinedly created certain rules and regulations, that is called libraries. We should uniformly following that kind of procedures. So that's why the libraries are created. So we have a library functions, that functions called as built-in functions. So the built-in functions means already I told you predefinedly created certain functions which is used for a particular purpose. Okay, so ABS, it is called mathematical function. It returns an absolute value of a number. Okay, what I am said, it is a mathematical function and returns an absolute value of a number. So the argument may be an integer or floating point number, whatever it may be. The number will be a integer number or floating point number, whatever it may be, there is no problem. A small syntax I given, ABS and x is a value. Okay, now look at this example again. X equal to 20. Now y equal to minus 23.2. Now I use the function name is called ABS. ABS of x is, okay, then print y. Okay, ABS of y. Okay, what I said, absolute value means it is used to given the absolute value. Okay, it is used to given the absolute value of a number, isn't it? So the first one is positive number, second one is I gave a negative number. What will happen? Absolute value means what? The original value. What is the original value? 23.2 is the original value. So it omits the negative symbol and producing the result. Okay, so the next function is ORD. So that means it returns the ASCII value for given Unicode character. Okay, what? The Unicode character can be written it. For an example, if you are assigning the character name is A, small a or caps A, the small a ASCII value is 97. So the 97 it will be returns to the particular character, then that is the usages for ORD. Okay, so this function is inverts the character function. That means it inversing the character function. Suppose if you have given 63, what will happen, or 65, what will happen? The 65 is equivalent to A, caps A, so it will be sending those kind of values. So that is the procedures for the ordinary functions or ORD functions. Okay, so look at this example. C equal to caps A and D equal to small z. So print A ORD of C. What will happen? A is the character name, isn't it? So in the A oda ASCII value வந்துட்டு என்ன 65. அதே மாதிரி Z, small z உடைய ASCII value is 122. So it just inversing the value. Okay, character, it inversing the character. So the next thing, character, CHR. So it returns the Unicode character for the given ASCII value. So in these functions, inverse of ORD function. Okay, ORD functions inverse பண்றதுக்காக நாம வந்து என்ன பண்றோம், CHR யூஸ் பண்றோம். So look at this example, 65 and 120 both are numbers, but those numbers containing the letters, isn't it? So the letter will be changing by the help of CHR. Okay, so next thing is BIN. So BIN is a binary value. It returns a binary string prefixed with 0B. That means 0 means 0, B means indicating the binary value. So if prefix, it will be added. So the format can also be used instead of this function. என்னது பிஐஎனுக்கு பதிலாக ஃபார்மட் அப்படிங்கிற ஃபங்க்ஷன்ஸ் யூஸ் பண்ணி நம்ம வந்துட்டு யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கலாம், பைனரி வேல்யூ வந்துட்டு எடுத்துக்கலாம். ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள், லுக் அட் திஸ், x equal to 15 and y is equal to 101. Now I am using bin of x. So bin of x 15 உடைய ASCII வேல்யூ வந்துட்டு என்ன, 2 டிவைட் பண்ணி பார்த்தீங்கன்னா வந்துட்டு என்ன வரும், 1111 அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு வரும் இல்லையா. அதே மாதிரி 101. ஸோ 101 உடைய ASCII வேல்யூ வந்துட்டு என்ன, 1100 101. So instead of in prefix, the 0B it will be added. So 0B means binary. So that is the usages of bin functions. So the next thing is type. So type is the function. It returns the type of object for the given single object. Okay, என்ன சொல்றாங்க, what kind of object it can be handled. So for an example, look at this example, x equal to 15.2, y equal to abc, and s equal to true, and d is equal to 23. Now I am mentioning the type of x, type of y, type of s, type of d. So what will be the output? The 15.2 is a floating value, so the float is appears. So abc அப்படிங்கிறது வந்துட்டு என்ன, string format, so str. True or false அப்படின்னா வந்துட்டு என்ன, boolean value. So 23 is a integer category. So that is the output will be come out from the type functions. So next one is id. So id is identity of an object. So the address of an object in the memory, actually the value where it is located. So that locations will be appears on the screen. So that's why we are using the id function. So see the example, x equal to 1566. So the 1566 is randomly stored anywhere in the locations, isn't it? Y equal to a. So the a is also randomly stored in the locations. So now I look up the address where it is actually located. So simply I referred from id function. It will be get the addresses from the memory and to show it to the user. So see the answer. Okay, so next one is minimum function. So it returns the minimum value in a list. ஒரு லிஸ்ட்டுக்குள்ளார minimum value என்ன இருக்கோ அதை ரிட்டர்ன் பண்ணுறதுக்காக யூஸ் பண்ணுறோம். So see that 21, 76, 98 and 23. These are the list. I am using the keyword min of a. So here we have 21 is the minimum value. The same thing max. So max na, it returns the maximum value. The same example I will get. So what will be the answer? It will be given 98. Okay, 98 is the answer. So sum. So it is used to calculate the sum of n numbers in a list. Okay, So for an example, 21, 76, 98, 23, I am going to be calculated sum of the values. So simply given sum of A, so it will be added with each other and producing the result 218. Okay, so the next function is called format function. So already I told you binary functions instead of binary functions we can use format function also. So in format functions we have three kind of sets. One is binary format, another one is called octal format, and fixed point notation. So you well known about it. Binary format means 0 B. Octals means what will happen? 0 yes 0 0. Okay va 0 and the மாதிரி வரும். Fixed point notations na அதுக்கு 0 in the precisions which contains 6 precisions will be producing, அதாவது after the decimals it will be producing 6 decimal places. Okay va, so that's why the fixed point notations can be used. See that binary 17 15.000, likewise it will be appears. Okay, so round, so it is used to rounding the value. Nearest integer value can be rounded up. Okay va, the first argument is used to specify the value to be rounded. The second argument is used to specify to the number of decimal digits desired after rounding. Okay va, ரெண்டு ஃபார்மட்ல கொடுக்கணும். The simple syntax number n digits, that means first argument number is used to specify the value to be rounded. எந்த வேல்யூ நான் ரவுண்ட் பண்ணணும். செகண்டுங்கிறது வந்துட்டு என்ன, டெசிமல் பிளேசஸ்க்கு வந்துட்டு எத்தனை டெசிமல் பிளேசஸ் வந்துட்டு அப்பியர் ஆகணும் அப்படிங்கிறத வந்துட்டு நான் வந்துட்டு கொடுக்குறேன். ஓகேவா, see that example 17.9 22.2 minus 18.3. Now look at this example, round x, round y, round z. I am not mentioning second part. So what will happen? 17.9 it will be rounded. Next nearest integer is 18, so 18 will be appear. So next thing 22.2, this nearest integer 22, so 22 it will be appear. Minus 18.3, what will happen? Minus 18 will be appear. Next one, that pow. So the pow function is used to power. It returns the computations of a double star p, okay, raised in the power of b. So simple example, a equal to 5 and b equal to 2. Now pow a comma b, so 5 square, so 25 it will be appear. Next statement, pow a plus b 7 comma 3, 7 cube. 7 cube oda result vandu 343. So next one is mathematical function. So the mathematical functions அப்படிங்கும்போது வந்துட்டு என்ன வருதுன்னு கேட்டோம்னா floor. So floor returns the largest integer less than or equal to x. So if you are using the mathematical functions, means we can call the mathematical functions math, then dot and use the function name floor. Okay, so how we are going to use in Python? Simply import math function, then 26.7 20 minus 26.7 and 23.2. likewise I am assigning the values. So math dot floor of x, what will happen? 26 will be appear. Minus 26.7, what will happen? 27. Z minus 23.2 அப்போ என்ன வருது? 24. So negative value na அதுக்கு அடுத்த value least value என்னவோ அந்த value எடுத்துக்கும். பாசிட்டிவ்னா வந்துட்டு என்ன பண்ணும், ஆக்சுவல் நம்பர் என்னவோ அந்த நம்பரை வந்துட்டு எடுத்துக்கும். ஓகே, have you clear? Next one is CL. So it is the largest integer greater than or equal to x. So see that example 26.7 minus 26.7 and minus 23.2. Now it is least value வந்துட்டு என்ன 26, so அதனுடைய highest value வந்துட்டு என்ன 27, so it will be appear 27. So minus 26.7 வரும்போது minus 26 and minus 23.2 வரும்போது 23. So final mathematical function is square root. It returns the square root of a x. X must be a greater than 0. இதில் என்ன இது சொல்கிறாங்க, 0 விட அதிகமாக இருக்கணும். ஓகே, so 30 49 25.5. so what will happen? 30 means 5.4777, something result will be appears. 49 is 7.0. 25.5 வந்துட்டு என்ன வரும்? 5.04972. அந்த மாதிரி வந்துட்டு நமக்கு வந்து ஸ்கொயர் ரூட் ஆஃப் த ஃபங்க்ஷன்ஸ் வந்து நமக்கு வந்துட்டு எடுத்து கொடுக்கும். So next important function is called composite functions. So composite functions அப்படின்னா என்ன, the value returned by a functions may be used as an argument for another function is a nested manner. nested mannerனா வந்துட்டு என்ன, இந்த நம்பருக்கு அடுத்த நம்பர் என்ன அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி நம்ம வந்துட்டு எடுக்கிறதுக்கு பேர் தான் வந்துட்டு nested manner. ஓகே, this is called composition. For an example, n1 is equal to e value of input, enter the number. So now we are going to be enter a number 234. So now n1 is 234, n2 e value input, enter the arithmetic expressions. enter the arithmetic expressions வந்துட்டு என்ன பண்ணுறோம், 12.0 plus 13.0 into 2. இப்போ n2 அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு கால் பண்ணோம்னா வந்துட்டு என்ன ஆகும், 38.0 அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு நமக்கு வந்துட்டு ரிசல்ட் வரும். ஓகேவா, அந்த வேரியபிளை நம்ம வந்துட்டு என்ன பண்ணுறோம்னா நம்ம வந்துட்டு சிம்பிளாக வந்துட்டு இந்த வேல்யூவை நம்ம வந்துட்டு எக்ஸிக்யூட் பண்ண வைக்கிறதுக்காக யூஸ் பண்ணுறது தான் இந்த காம்போசிட் ஃபங்க்ஷன்ஸ் அப்படிங்கிறது. ஓகேவா, ஸோ ரிகர்சிவ் ஃபங்க்ஷன் a functions can call by itself is known as recursive function. So recursive works like a loop, but sometimes it makes more sense to use recursion than loop. ஓகேவா, லூப்பை விட இது வந்துட்டு ஸ்மார்ட்டாக ஒர்க் பண்ணும். ஓகேவா, அதுதான் வந்துட்டு சொல்கிறாங்க. ஸோ ரிகர்சிவோட ஒர்க் வந்துட்டு என்ன, ரிகர்சிவ் ஃபங்க்ஷன்ஸ் கேன் கால்டு பை சம் எக்ஸ்டர்னல் கோட். ஃபஸ்ட்டு டைம் வந்துட்டு எங்கே இருக்கும், எக்ஸ்டர்னல் கோட்லேருந்து தான் கால் ஆகும். அப்படி கால் ஆனதுக்கு பிறகு வந்துட்டு என்ன ஆகுது, இஃப் த பேஸ் கண்டிஷன் இஸ் மெட் தென் த ப்ரோக்ராம் கிவ்ஸ் மீனிங்ஃபுல் அவுட்புட் அண்ட் எக்ஸிட்ஸ். அதனுடைய இது முடிஞ்சதுன்னா நல்ல ஒரு கரெக்டான அவுட்புட் ஃபார்மேட் கொடுத்துட்டு வெளியில் வந்துடும். அதர்வைஸ் ஃபங்க்ஷன் டஸ் சம் ரிக்வயர்ட் ப்ராசஸிங் அண்ட் தென் கால் இட் செல்ஃப் டு கண்டினியூ த ரெக்கர்ஷன். அப்படின்னா கிடைக்கலன்னா, அந்த டிசைட் அவுட்புட் கிடைக்கலன்னா மறுபடியும் அந்த அவுட்புட் கிடைக்கிற வரைக்கும் அது எக்ஸிக்யூட் ஆகிக்கிட்டே இருக்கும். இதுதான் வந்துட்டு ரிகர்சிவ் ஃபங்க்ஷன். ஸோ ஃபேக்டோரியல் ஆஃப் எ கிவன் நம்பர், the best example of recursive functions. See that fact is a function name. Okay, if n equal to 0 means என்ன வரணும், ரிட்டர்ன் 1ன்னு வரணும், 1ங்கிற ரிசல்ட் வரணும். எல்ஸ் என்ன ஃபார்மேட் கொடுத்துருக்கோமோ அது வரைக்கும் அது வந்துட்டு எக்ஸிக்யூட் ஆகும். இப்போ ஃபஸ்ட்டு கால் பாருங்கள், ஃபேக்ட் ஆஃப் 0, அப்போ n equal to 0 எக்ஸாக்ட் ரிசல்ட் கிடைச்சிருச்சு. அப்போ வந்துட்டு என்ன ஆகிடும், அவுட்புட் வந்துட்டு 1ன்னு சொல்லிட்டு கிடைச்சிடும். இப்போ செகண்ட் பாருங்கள், ஃபேக்ட் ஆஃப் 5, அப்போ என்ன ஆகுது, ஃபேக்ட் ஆஃப் 5ங்கும் போது n is not equal to 0, ஸோ else part will be executed n into fact n minus 1. that means என்னோட வேல்யூ வந்துட்டு என்ன, 5 into 4 என்ன வரும், 20, again 20 into 3 என்ன வரும், 60 into 2 120, 120 into 1 120. so that is the example. ஓகேவா, இட்ஸ் கேன் பி எக்ஸிக்யூட்டட் பை இட் செல்ஃப். அதுவே வந்துட்டு மறுபடியும் வந்துட்டு கால் பண்ணிக்கும். ஸோ தட் இஸ் த ரிகர்சிவ் ஃபங்க்ஷன்ஸ். ஸோ do you have any doubt, means according to this lesson simply making query to me and we will discussing with the practical oriented. Okay, thank you so much my dear student, have a nice day.